YouTube, how's it going? Naker321 back again with my pickups through the month of August. I got 6 games for you. They're all modern games, no retro ones. But I only paid full price for 2 of them. In fact, 4 of them I got for under 10 bucks. So some good deals here for some games I wanted to play for quite a while. A few impulse purchases here or there, but we'll get to those later. So we'll start off with the 2 games I got hard copies of. 4 of them are DLC or digital download games. So we'll start with the hard copies. As I close this game, one of the ones I paid full price for, NCAA 12. I was going to get this or Madden. I get a football game pretty much every year. I decided to go with this. I bought the NCAA game last year. I enjoy the Road to Glory mode, which is like the create a player mode where you make a player, you take him through his senior year of high school, and then you get recruited by schools, and you ultimately, I guess, try to win the Heisman or national championship or whatever. Pretty similar game to, obviously these football games don't change much year to year, which sort of stinks. I mean, there's still some issues with it I have, but for the most part it's still enjoyable. The graphics are really good, actually. I noticed more of a jump, I think, from last year to this year than I have seen in years past, so that was nice. The animations, the collision animations and tackling and stuff, I think look pretty good. Little things to nitpick here or there about it, but ultimately, I mean, if you like college football and football games, you're probably going to enjoy this game. It's if you've enjoyed ones in the past, you'll enjoy this for sure. So, pretty cool. It might be worth it to hold off. Maybe you can get it for a price drop, mid-season for, I don't know, 35, 40 bucks, something like that. So, I think actually I got it on sale at Target. I think it was like 47 bucks, so it's not a huge discount, but still it's nice to get a little more than 10 bucks off. So, kind of a random price too. They put it at 47. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, and this one was sort of an impulse purchase. I paid full price for it. Bought it. Let's see. Today's Sunday. I bought it Thursday, I think, and I've put like 15 hours into this or something, and that's saying a lot because I had to work a lot the past couple days. So pretty much every waking moment I wasn't at work, I was playing this game, and it is super addicting. And a lot of people have picked it up recently. And it's Deus Ex Human Revolution. I got it on PC. It's also available on PS3 and 360. This game is fantastic. I really love this game. I bought the first one when it came out, new back in the day. I had a PC that it was decent gaming PC, I guess. But I didn't really get into it that much. It was so deep and so much to do. I just kind of ended up getting lost. I was, fairly young at the time. I guess that was probably over 10 years ago that game came out. So I don't know, I never really got into it. I tried to get back into it here or there, but ultimately I just sort of got overwhelmed with everything you can do. But so in that sense, I was sort of hesitant to maybe get this one, but I couldn't resist after all hearing all the great reviews and seeing gameplay online, and I'm glad I picked it up. It is worth every penny. It is such a really cool, immersive game. What it reminds me of, I think, is Mass Effect, in the sense that you walk around a semi-open world kind of environment, and you can do side quests here or there. There's not really a time limit. You don't have to do main missions all the time. There's plenty of side things to do, plenty of places to explore. You can, find. I sort of end up hoarding all this like material in these kind of games. Finding ammo and just random supplies and things like that, and then you sell it off to certain people. So that's what I spend my time doing, is sort of like breaking into people's apartments and stealing their stuff. Which is not what I do in real life, but it's what I do in all these games. But, anyway. So I do that most of the time. I just have a ton of fun exploring the environments. You can go into a lot of apartment buildings in different places and find people. But the way it differs from Mass Effect, and where I'm glad it differs from Mass Effect, is in the combat. The combat reminds me of Splinter Cell Conviction, and what I mean by that is that it has a cover system, and the game's played in the first person, but once you get into cover, it zooms back into a third-person view, very reminiscent of Splinter Cell Conviction, which I like that game. Not a lot of people did, I don't think, but I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. And the action is pretty cool. It's set up where you can either have a sort of stealthy approach, which is what I usually prefer to do most of the time. There's plenty of options and ways to go about each objective in each room and things like that. There's air ducts you can sneak through. You can hack computers to get passwords. You can find passwords on, if you kill an enemy or neutral, or you can knock them out. You don't have to kill them, but if you knock them out, sometimes they have passwords on them, or you can just kind of, go guns blazing if you really want to. but usually I found that to be a little harder. I think it's a little easier to do the stealthy way because ammo, you can only carry so much with you at a time, so ammo kind of runs out pretty quickly, so you can't have a very good extended firefight, it doesn't take much for you to get killed, so it's easier to avoid confrontation. I think they sort of built it that way, even though they say you can go either approach. I think combat's kind of a last resort, but stealth first is definitely the better option. But that's not a bad thing. I think that the way they do stealth is really well done. They have a sort of upgrade system where you can upgrade certain abilities, whether you want to focus your guy on fighting and combat and armor and things like that, or you can strengthen his hacking abilities so you can hack into computers and security systems easier, or you can even become invisible for a very short period of time. You can fall from any height and not take damage, which is pretty fun. It's so many options, and it's just such an open game. If you like games like Mass Effect, anything, or if you played the original Deus Ex back in the day and enjoyed it, I definitely recommend it for you. If you're a fan of kind of cyberpunk style, the typical kind of Blade Runner, like old school anime look to it, it definitely has that feel to it. Very, very cool game. Definitely, I think probably the favorite I've picked out of the month. It's a wholehearted recommendation to any of you. Get it on console or PC. I've heard great things about either one, so you're not missing anything by not getting the PC version. I don't think, if you don't have a computer that can run it. Definitely go play it whatever way you can. It's definitely an experience I think worth going through. And that was the only one I paid full price for this month, but I think it was worth it. So going on to the next 4 games I got. I picked up I'm way behind on this one, but it was on sale on PS3 not too long ago. Both of the DLCs for Grand Theft Auto 4. I only picked up The Lost and the Damned because it was the cheaper of the two. And then I just forgot to get the other one. I don't know, whatever. But I've played a little bit of it. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed Grand Theft Auto 4. I know some people are really, one way or the other. It's a very kind of divisive game. In retrospect, I think there was sort of a wow factor when it came out, and it has worn off a little bit, so replaying it now with the DLC, it's not as impressive as it was when GTA 4 first came out, but it's still fun. I enjoy GTA games. They're fun. The one thing I don't like is that if you don't know, you're kind of part of a motorcycle club in this expansion pack, and so in that sense it forces you to ride motorcycles everywhere, and I don't really like doing them in Grand Theft Auto games, because if you crash and you fall off the motorcycle, you lose health and it takes forever to get back up and get on. Whereas if you're just driving a car, you crash and whatever, you just go, So it's sort of makes you be a little more cautious, I think, which is something I don't like in Grand Theft Auto games. But overall, it's not too bad. It's for DLC, it's fairly fleshed out. I have to get back into it. I sort of played it for a good couple days when I bought it, and then I sort of stopped. So one of those I'll go back to whenever I get a chance. But for $5, it wasn't bad. I think normally it's like 10 or 15, so it was a decent sale. Next game I got, the next game I got is one that I've been looking forward to play for a long time, but I had my old laptop that I had wasn't able to handle it, unfortunately. And when I got the new computer, this is definitely one of the ones I wanted to try, but it was still full price, and I sort of waited to get it on sale. And it went on sale not too long ago, and I missed it, and I was so bummed that I missed it. And man, I was really frustrated. And then luckily for me, it went back on sale not too long ago, and that game is Amnesia: The Dark Descent. I got it for $8. It's normally $20, which for $20 it's still pretty good, but I didn't want to pay $20 for it. But if you're a fan of survival horror games at all, this is definitely a game you really want to check out. It's gotten such high praise from everybody, and so much hype surrounding it. I had to, just jump on it and try it, because I enjoy survival horror games. I like Silent Hill 2, I like all the Resident Evil games. Dead Space is fun. Eternal Darkness is one of my favorite games on the GameCube. I really like survival horror games. And this one, the way they do it is so well done. The sound design in it is very, very good. It's very immersive. They really suggest that you play with headphones in the dark, and I agree that that's sort of the best way to do it. They really stress the sort of just getting immersed in the world, not necessarily following the story or playing it as a game, if that makes sense. They don't stress, moving from point A to point B and getting objectives done. You know, that's not meant to be the experience. What you're meant to do is sort of take in the environment and then sort of explore if you can, and you know, just immerse yourself in it. And it really does a good job of doing that, especially with the sound. The graphics are okay, I mean, but that's not really the point, to look, you know, like a AAA All-Star title. But the graphics are good, good enough, I guess you could say. And the way it's done is just so well done. It builds up. It's so good at building tension, because you don't see monsters every 2 seconds like you do in Dead Space. You know, in Dead Space, the sort of scare factor or whatever from your first couple of encounters wears off after you realize that you can just walk around with your gun held out, and pretty much you know when guys are going to come out. It becomes predictable after a while, which sort of ruins the experience. And I felt the same way with like Alan Wake. That after a while it just became tedious. You know, the monsters weren't scary, they were just kind of in the way. And I think that really can ruin a survival horror game. This game does it so well that you're on your toes. You're expecting monsters every corner, but they don't show up, so you're like, what's going on? You know, it keeps building and building and building until eventually when one comes, it sort of just boils over and you're like, holy crap. And the really cool twist to this game is that there's no weapons. You have no way of defending yourself, attacking the monsters. Your only option is to run and hide. That's it. So it's realistic in that sense, I guess, if you want to think of it like that. And they have a system similar to Eternal Darkness, a sanity meter, where if you're in darkness, or if you look at monsters or witness sort of like scary things happen, your sanity goes down. And to regain sanity, you have to get in like by light sources, like, you know, like a torch or something like that. But if you're in light, that makes it easier for you to be seen by monsters. So there's a kind of a neat balance you have to you know, attend to there. You have to stay in the light to kind of remain sane, but you also don't want to be there too long because it'd be easier for monsters to find you. So you hide in the darkness and you get more insane, and it's just a nice, real cool balance they have for that game. And so far, I don't know how many. I played it a couple hours and I've only had 2 monster encounters maybe, and from what I've heard, the scares are going to get even more intense as I go on, so I'm really looking forward to trying out this game more. But you sort of got to be in the right mood for it. You can't just kind of pick up and play in the middle of the day. It's got to be at night in the dark with headphones on. You really got to buckle down and immerse yourself in it, but it's definitely worth it. Very cool game. Check it out if you can. If you're a fan of survival horror, I definitely recommend it for sure. Next game I got was the next 2 actually I got were on Steam sales. They have like daily deals all the time, which are really, really tempting, and I can tell are going to be just taking up all my hard drive space in the future for sure. But the first one I got was Section 8 Prejudice, which is a sort of sci-fi futuristic shooter. It looks a little bit like Halo, obviously not, you know, the production value isn't the same as Halo, but it's still decent. I was kind of surprised at the production value for a, you know, what you call a budget title. I got it for $8 with all the DLC. Normally it's like 20 or 25, I don't know what. But it's alright. It's meant to be sort of, I think, an online multiplayer game. It has a story and it's decent, but I think that's, you know, that's secondary. I think the real key is sort of to foster this online community, but unfortunately no one's playing it online. And that's really kind of the downfall of the game. I might enjoy it if there were more people online, but any given, I mean, peak hours at night during weekends, there's 3 or 4 servers online, which is kind of unfortunate. And I tried hopping in a few and I just could not get the hang of it. The people who are playing obviously have been playing this forever, and at this point it's hard for new people to jump in. I had zero idea what I was doing right or wrong, what was going on at all. There's no sort of tutorial or training for the online modes. It just throws you in and you have no idea what's going on, so that's a kind of unfortunate. So I don't see myself playing that. I already uninstalled it, honestly, from my hard drive, just because it didn't seem like one. Once I beat the campaign, I didn't think I was going to go back to it, you know. That's unfortunate, but for $8 I figured I'd try it. And yeah, I got a couple decent hours out of it, but I was hoping for a little more out of it because it had good reviews and people liked it at first, but I think it's been out for a while, so the hype and the community sort of died down, which is unfortunate, but that's how it goes, I guess. So the last game I actually just bought yesterday, I'm glad I caught this. I caught this close to the end here. I got home from work and I was sort of just, you know, bumming around on the internet, and I just opened Steam and saw it was on sale. And this is a game I've been wanting to try for a while, and luckily I got it, and I checked this morning and the deal's over, so thank goodness I got it in time. And that game is Metro 2033. I believe this game came out last year sometime. It was on 360. I don't believe it was on PS3. It might have been only 360, but it was on PC also. I got it for PC. I got it for $5. It's priced normally $20 on Steam, so that was definitely a good deal. I was looking to get it for 10 or less, so to get it for $5 was a great deal. And I'm surprised how good the game looks for being that old. I think maybe on the PC version they've sort of, I don't know if they've done it with patches or what they've done since, but they really overhauled this game and to really take advantage of super modern graphics technology. And like the computer I have, I consider good. It's mid to high end PC probably, and I'm having problems like not running it, but it's not running at 60 frames a second like I'd like it to. It's really, it's a hard hitting game. I was really surprised. So I sort of have to tinker with it and kind of get it running as smoothly as possible. But I've played it for maybe an hour so far, and it's pretty cool. It's meant to be sort of a single player campaign experience, so I'll dive into it here or there once I sort of get it playing, performing the way I want. So right now it's at like 40, 50 frames a second, something like that, on DirectX 11 settings on high. I tried it on very high, and that wasn't going to happen, so I knocked it down a notch, which sort of hurt. I wanted to have it on very high, but unfortunately I don't think I have the computer to do that, which is it kind of stinks. But it's still from what I've played so far, I think I'll enjoy it. So looking to get back into that whenever I can. And those are my 6 games I picked up for the month. I will have more videos coming up soon whenever I can think of things to record, or when I have the time. So I guess that's it for now. Leave comments, and yeah, thanks guys. Nate for 321 signing out.